The Pro Gun live stream. Today is Saturday, April 18th, 2026. Give it a minute or so for others to join and we'll get started. All right, that's better now. We were having some technical difficulties. Looks like we're back online now. Another hot Saturday afternoon in Tennessee. We are only 39 subscribers away from reaching the goal of 8,000. So hopefully we can accomplish that today. Gundoggin, good to see you, brother. I see you must finally have some time on your hands today. And we have more people joining now. That's better. That's a good question, Gundoggin. The 1791 gun leather holsters, they do not have retention like the Urban Carry. Matter of fact, I haven't seen any leather holsters that have retention like the Urban Carry holsters. So if you're looking for retention in the leather holster, the only other option is to go with a thumb brake. Hey, Duke, welcome, brother. I'm not a big fan of a thumb brake because under duress, I've tried them. Sometimes mechanically, you just don't get your thumb in the right place to unsnap it, and I just don't want to be put in a position like that. Yeah, Duke, that Titan baton, that is awesome. I think they are legal in New Jersey. Stun guns are legal in almost every state. And because it's a flashlight, they can't say that you're carrying a weapon. It's probably a gray area. But then again, there are not many things that are legal in New Jersey. Yeah, those things are great. I keep that stun gun in the tour pack of my motorcycle. Yeah, Gundog, and I like the Urban Carries. I like that you get the leather holster with retention. But, realistically, I mean, I use a leather holster when I ride my motorcycle, carrying a 1911, and it never pops out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that retention's all it's cracked up to be. But yeah, that Titan Taser is awesome. It's great. If you're walking your dog at night in the park or something by yourself, um, it's definitely great to have in a vehicle. And like I said, for the video, I was going to have my wife zap me with it, but I got a feeling that's going to hurt, so I changed my mind. Hey, Mr. Lee, you can go back in your mommy's basement now. I hear your mommy calling you. Bye. And Dumb AF, hello to you. Thanks for joining. And we are only 39 subscribers away from reaching our 8,000 subscribers. And man, we got a lot of liberals crawling out of their mommy and daddy's basement again today. Thank God I have my moderators to help throw them back in the basement, because we've been getting a lot of them lately. Yeah, exploring America, you can go in your mommy's basement too. Bye. So, I still haven't had time to get to the range and test out the new Viper yet. I ordered a custom holster from Tucker and Bird, and they tell me it's going to be about a 2-week wait. So maybe I'll just wait for the holster to come in, and then this way I can carry it. And nothing is real. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Again, welcome to all the new people on the stream today. We do this stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday, 12 noon, we discuss firearms. We do this stream because my viewers requested it. We have a loyal following, so we will continue doing this. It's a great way to share information. For the new people on the stream, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We have almost 1,000 videos out there, so I'm sure there's firearms products and accessories that everyone can get some enjoyment out of. Hey, Duke, how are you liking that Glock 20, Duke? I mean, I'm liking my new Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 10 millimeter, but I still like the Glock 20 better. I still think that Glock 20 is the best 10 millimeter that was ever made. I don't I don't hunt yet. I guess maybe when I retire, I've always wanted to do it. I just never got around to it. Um, Tennessee has a lot of great wildlife, and I just picked up today um, the Rapid Safe from Hornady at my local Tractor Supply. Yeah, what ammo you going with, Duke? You're gonna go with 180 grain, right? I found that my Glock 20 likes that 180 grain a lot. Hey, Jib Jab. Welcome back, brother. Good to see you again. No, 180 grain is really not crazy. I mean, that's awesome. That's what I carry in my 10 millimeter. Um, I like it a lot. To be honest with you, there, Duke, I'm not a fan of purchasing reloaded ammo. It's not that much cheaper, um, and I reload my own. So, good afternoon, AG. Good to see you. Federal's not bad. Um, I tend to, for the range, when I go to my local Rural King, I tend to get what's on sale to just blast it away at the range. Um, but I like the Arms Core and I like the Blazer a lot. If you reload, though, one thing you need to keep in mind is that Blazer ammo uses small pistol primers instead of large. Doesn't hurt anything, but it's really a pain in the ass if you reload. Thanks for that feedback, Jim Jam. You know what, Duke? I've shot a lot of MagTech. I've never had any problems with them. And like I said, I like the Blazer ammo. Um, but if you reload, you just need to keep in mind that Blazer ammo uses uh, small pistol primer cases, and I learned that the hard way when I was reloading, and I was having a hard time priming the cases. And it turns out that the Blazer ammo had small pistol primer sockets. So um, if I find Blazer on sale at Royal King, I shoot it up at the range and I just make a point of making sure I don't pick up the cases. But I carry 180 grain um, Hornady Critical Duty. And by the way, Duke, if you have the Glock 20 now, and you decide to get the Glock 29, which is the subcompact, um, X Grip makes a spacer so that you can use that 15 round magazine in the 10 round Glock 29, which is pretty cool. Mr. Breezy, I don't understand. I don't understand what that statement means at all. Why do I need a paper telling me I can carry? I live in the great state of Tennessee. We don't need no stinking papers. I I know I've mentioned a few times I was not a fan of the Kimbers, but that was probably my impatience by not letting it break in and trying different magazines. But um, it's getting harder and harder to find new gun I want. I won't buy any more 9mm because I have way too many of them. Um, so I was looking at the Kimber, and maybe I'll give it another try. I think it's called the Dark Storm, something like that. 45 ACP. And actually, the American Eagle ammo is pretty good too. You know what, Ding? I always wanted a Kimber, and a couple of years ago, I got a good deal at the local gun store, and the Kimber Custom 2 1911 45 ACP. Was absolutely gorgeous. It was stainless steel and uh, black, and I had nothing but jams. I'm telling you, like every other round jammed, and I just got disgusted with it, and I got rid of it, and I bought a Colt government model, a government competition model, um, but that was probably my bad. I've learned with 1911s, most of the reasons the 1911s jam are magazines, and I only run Wilson Combat or Chip McCormick, which is now owned by Wilson Combat, and I've never had a jam since then. Matter of fact, even my Colt performs better with Wilson Combat mags than it does with the Colt mags. So I may try another Kimber with the Wilson Combat mags. Yeah, that's what I did too, Ding. I got rid of the Kimber and got the Colt competition, but I don't know. I'm hoping maybe that Kimber moved um, to Georgia and their quality and control maybe improved, because I mean there's a lot of Kimbers out there and a lot of people like them. I just have not had good experience, but um, the only guns I probably will wind up buying are 1911s and 45 or 10 millimeter or revolvers. I mean, I just have way too many 9 millimeters, considering I'm not even a fan of the 9 millimeter. I just got them to review, and I got them because the ammo's cheap, but I very rarely carry a 9. And it just gets harder and harder when you go to the gun store to find something new, because everything new is coming out as a 9 millimeter striker fired pistol. They're all freaking same. That's why I bought that Henry lever action 357. I do still want to get the Smith & Wesson FPC in 10 millimeter. Why is your Glock 10 millimeter mag easier to load? Do you, Duke, to answer your question, do you mean racking the slide with the 10 millimeter versus the G3? And you should upgrade that G3, Duke. I'm telling you. I mean, it's a good gun because it's cheap, but I think part of the reason that the Glock is easier is because um, those Taurus magazines from Mekgar are really, really tight. I mean, I could easily load that Glock 20 magazine with, very minimal effort. But that Taurus magazine for 9 millimeter, I have to use a mag loader. I find it very difficult to load. The SIGs are like that too. The SIG P320, there's no way you're loading that by hand. Yeah, the Glock is easy. Probably also got to do with the springs. I noticed that the Glock 20, it's easier to load those 10 millimeter rounds than it is to load my 9 millimeter rounds on my Glock 19X. It's also probably easier because the 10 millimeter casing is wider than 9 millimeter. So there's more friction on it when you push it down, and you can get more of your finger on the casing than the 9 millimeter. Again, for those that are new today, um, we're like 39 subscribers away. Um, so maybe we could do that today. We're 39 subscribers away from 8,000. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. You know what, Ding? Thank you for that, Leland. I appreciate that. You know what, Ding? I carry one of my favorite 10 millimeters that I carry is my Springfield Ronin 1911 and 10 millimeter. That is badass. Um, I I carry a 9 millimeter every now and then, but it's very rare. I'm normally carrying a 45 or a 10. Yeah, that Ronin I think is one of my favorites. Um, and I was really up in the air when I bought it between the 45 ACP or the 10 millimeter, and I went with the 10 millimeter because I got a shitload of 45s, hence Pro Gun 45. Um, but I also use Wilson Combat Mags on that as well. Wilson Combat Mags are just incredible. If you're going to carry a 1911, you really should have Wilson Combat Mags or Chip McCormick. But now that they're owned by Wilson Combat, it's the same thing. But I like the Springfields. The only Springfields I'm not a fan of are the XD series. That's just not their best work. But one of my favorite 1911s, I bought the Springfield Emissary. And that's like a $1,200-$1,300 gun. And I was at my local Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo, and it was on sale for like stupid cheap, like $6.99. That is badass gun. I agree with you, Ding. And you know the funny thing about it is the recoil on the 10 millimeter is really not that big. And Gush Rivers, mommy's calling you. Bye. Um, you know, everybody makes a big deal about it. And that's why you have all of these guys that are shooting 40 caliber. And I promise, Duke, I'm not going to get on that rant. But the 10 millimeter is very manageable. Matter of fact, my Glock 20 is my wife's favorite gun. She shoots that gun just as good as I do. The only thing I will admit is for follow-up shots, if you had to fire 2 or 3 consecutive shots with a 9 millimeter, you will definitely be more accurate than you will with a 10. But if you're shooting a 10 millimeter, you don't need to do that double tap shit that the 9 millimeter guys do. And especially here in the woods in Tennessee, there's stuff in them woods that can kill you. I go fishing along in the woods, and there's black bear in there, there's bobcat, there's mountain lions. I mean, the 10 millimeter, that'll take down anything on 2 legs or 4. Yeah, that's the thing, Ding. Um, it's all about shot placement, right? But I'm betting if you shoot somebody with the 10 millimeter, you're not going to have to shoot them twice. Exactly, Ding. You know, when I was fishing one day, there was a black bear probably 25 feet away in the water. And I ignored him and he ignored me. He didn't charge me. And if that black bear would have charged me, there is no way a 9mm is going to take that thing down. It'll probably take more than a whole mag of 9mm thing. Um, a bear has got so much fatty tissue and muscle. Um, mm, I wouldn't. I wouldn't count on it. Matter of fact, the Glock 20 is what the tour guides use in Alaska for grizzly. I would definitely, and 15 rounds of 10mm, that'll stop them. However, if it's charging, you're not getting 15 rounds off. But a lot of people criticize what they don't know and what they don't understand, and a lot of people think that 10mm is overkill for personal defense. And again, it's all about shot placement. And if you have hollow points, you're not going to have serious overpenetration. However, you do have a jury if you ever have to use it. There was a case a year, I don't know, years back, a guy from Arizona uh, was perfectly justified in his shooting, but he used the 10mm, and they found him guilty under the premise that, well, if the cops only used 9mm, why is this guy using a cannon? And that's the scary thing about the jury, because their logic makes no sense. Um, you just hope to God you never have to have these retards on the jury deciding your fate. It's not only this is the whole problem with having a jury thing. If you have a justified shooting, perfectly justified, they're going to go after, all right, the guy had a 10mm. Why did he need something that powerful? Even though the Second Amendment is, it's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. And then they go by other things. Like if you have, I do have a Punisher slide plate on my Glock. Um, you know, I'm sure the jury's going to look at something like that if you ever have to use it and come up with some stupid notion that, you know, you were trying to inflict punishment because you had a Punisher back plate on your gun. Um, the jury doesn't just go by the law. They have their own stupid opinions, and you have a room full of 12 knuckleheads that just want to get out of there. Wow, 12:30 already. Time is really going fast. Um, we have a lot of new people here today, so for those that are new to this stream, we do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one, Chips. Yeah, tanks are good to have. There's nothing in the Second Amendment that says you can't have a tank. And if you're new to the stream and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I think we're 30 something subscribers away from reaching 8,000. I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks, brother. And thank you, Ding. I appreciate that. And Olin, I hear your mommy calling you, so you're going back to mommy, okay? Bye bye. And again, special thanks to our moderators. Um, I would not be able to do this live stream without them. You could see we have a lot of liberals that come out of their mommy and daddy's basements, and our moderators help kick them back down the basement to keep them off the channel. But it is still flattering, though, that this is a pro-gun channel, and we have all liberals coming out of the basement. I just find it very odd. They could be doing a lot of other things, and they choose to join my stream, so I take that as a compliment. Yeah, you know what, Chris? See, this is the problem. It's just because you can do something doesn't mean that when you do it, you're not going to have consequences. There's always going to be consequences. Hey, T-Dog, thank you, brother. God bless you. You have a great day as well. But that's the problem there, Chris. Yes, you can carry, and then you have some anti-gun person calling the police saying, "Oh, you know, that guy Frank, he shouldn't be able to have guns," and they come after you for that. You know, it's just like the old saying, though, right? You'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Well, actually, there's going to be 30 states. It looks like, and thank you for that, Chips. I appreciate it. It looks like Michigan is actually very, very close to becoming the 30th constitutional carry state. So, problem is, you're always going to have these liberal states that are never going to be constitutional, and that is why, in our lifetime, we will never have national reciprocity. Even though they're trying to push for it, it's never going to happen. These liberal states they're just not going to comply. And to answer your question, Martin, the answer to that, I would say, is no. I mean, you know, I don't think any of us really like wars. And, you know, a lot of innocent people die. You know what, Chris? There's nothing wrong with a 9mm. It's a perfectly acceptable round. I mean, that's why almost every law enforcement agency in the country use it. It's got low recoil. It's got high capacity. It's very easy to shoot. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And hello to you, King. Thank you for joining. Hey, Sultry. Anyway, so this is a gun stream, and it is a gun channel. So why don't we focus more on the firearms and accessories? If anybody's got any comments about guns or firearms they want to discuss, good or bad, I do let some of these off conversations go on for a little while. There's nothing wrong with that, but we do try to maintain focus here. Or trust me, and I try to not let it get political for too long, because trust me, I could spend all day long flaming the liberals. You know what, Chris? I was just I saw that Ruger PCC, um, but I'll get right to you, Jib Jab. But I don't know. I mean, I think they're just trying to come out with one just to compete with Smith and Wesson and Keltec. I'm a big fan of Ruger. Don't get me wrong, but I love my Smith and Wesson FPC and Jib Jab. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Beretta. Uh, they're awesome guns. Um, they're Gumbas of mine. They're made in Italy. Um, the only thing about the Beretta, especially like the 92, it's um, it's like a boat anchor. It's heavy as hell. Yes, Gundoggin. I've tried the backplate charging handles for pistols. I have them on some of my uh, firearms. And I don't know what war the Liberator 45 was made for. Yeah, you can't go wrong. By the way, Jib Jab, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but Beretta now owns a controlling interest in Ruger. Um, and this is going to be very interesting there, Jib Jab, because Beretta, from everything that I'm seeing, it looks like there's going to be a hostile takeover, and Beretta's going to eventually just take over Ruger. And yes, really, Beretta owns the uh, controlling shares of Ruger now, and I would suspect over time it's going to be a hostile takeover, and it's too bad because look what CZ did. They bought Dan Wesson, they bought Colt, they bought a few other companies, and they sell those brands independently. But apparently, it doesn't look like Beretta is going to play nice. And Beretta moved to Tennessee, by the way. Um, and Sultry Poultry, to me, I don't see the attraction of the gas pedals. I think they're stupid. Um, doesn't really reduce recoil. I can't answer your question on the AK-47. I don't own one. I only own a bunch of ARs, so I can't tell you. But yeah, it's going to be real interesting, Jib Jab, to see what Beretta winds up doing. Well, and King, the reason I went with the ARs is because um, there are thousands of accessories and a ton of furniture you can throw on an AR. Um, so I just like that, you know, when you're building one, there's a lot of options for customization. However, I've never heard anything bad about the AK. They are supposed to be very well made. Yes, 223-556 is abundant. There's a boatload of them for good reason. I mean, um, they're low recoil rounds, and you could shoot them at distances. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Thing is that it would cost you a lot of money to build an AK. Now, and going back to the Ruger thing, Jib Jab, um, Anderson Precision, in my mind, made the best AR lower receivers. Um, and they were like $50. And then last year, Ruger purchased Anderson Manufacturing and killed the brand. They don't sell any more of the Anderson products. Um, they just bought them for the machine shop. And it's probably because Anderson must have made the lower receivers for Ruger's ARs. So they just bought the company to make their own lower receivers. But that's too bad because, my local Rural King, they've had Anderson lower receivers for $39.99 on sale. Now you can't get them anymore. Um, you know, Aero Precision are very good, but now you're up to $100. Yes, Ruger wants customers to buy a complete package, but I like their products. I mean, hopefully, Beretta takes them over. I can't see them killing the Ruger product line. That would be suicidal. Um, but I mean, the Ruger products, they're built like tanks and they last forever. Um, I'm just hoping that, Beretta takes it over. They allow Ruger to run itself like it's its own company. Actually, 68 cents a round isn't bad because I have a 308 bolt action. We went on vacation once, and the place where we stayed had an outdoor range. So we took the 308, and I went to the local gun store there, and I think it wound up costing me like $1 a round. No, Ruger does not have anything against high capacity mags. Matter of fact, the Ruger RXM uses 15 round magazines, and if you get the full size grip, it'll use 17 round mags. So, no, Ruger does not have anything against high capacity mags. I agree with you, Ding. There's nothing like building your own AR-15. I mean, I have the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport 2, and I like it a lot. But honestly, my favorite ARs are the ones that I built from scratch because I got my own lower. I put in the Palmetto State competition trigger. It got 3 pounds pull on it. I got my Bear Creek Arsenal upper receiver. So every component in my ARs, and what dream? Your mommy's calling you. Bye. So, everybody thinks that. Hold on. Yeah, that Ruger SR-45 is a nice gun. But getting back to that thing, A lot of people think it's cheaper to build your own AR, and it can be. I mean, you could build your own AR for $400. And welcome, Harley Girl. Thank you for joining. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. I'd appreciate that. But building your own AR isn't really about the cost. It's about having all the components that you want in it, because no matter how expensive of a gun you buy, there's going to be something you don't like about it. And to go out and spend, $800 on an AR-15 and start replacing triggers and all of that stuff, it's just silly. You might as well just build your own. And Harley Girl, we are in the great state of Tennessee, outside of Knoxville. We used to live in the communist state of New Jersey, so I do know where Rochester is. I actually worked for a company that had a facility in Rochester. I can't tell you, Duggan. I mean, Ruger's had products that use high-capacity magazines for a long time. But anyway, when you build your own AR-15, the bottom line is, not only is it a lot of fun, but you'll learn a lot about how the AR works. What was it called? It was a food company called Grand Union. And they had a facility in Rochester and Purchase, New York. Good one, Pezzo. Yeah, we had early voting in Tennessee today. And in Tennessee, because it's America, you need to show ID to vote. But in the great state of Tennessee, you need to have a government ID, and I love the fact that I could use my carry permit for ID. And USMC, thank you for your service, brother. Yeah, Harley Girl, I'm sure it was before your time, because I am ancient, so. Yes, that is a good point there, Ian. Yes, there is a difference. Unfortunately, the term building is used interchangeable. But yes, building is not fabricating. It's basically, like you said, you're buying a bunch of components and you're putting them together like Legos. And Angel, yes, PA is a carry state, but it's not what it used to be. Yes, and there's a reason for that, Pezzo, because Tennessee is a free state. It's a constitutional carry state. Um, it's a very red state. So, yeah, there are a lot of gun channels, and a lot of gun companies are moving here. Smith & Wesson already moved here. Henry is moving to Tennessee. Beretta is opening a facility in Tennessee. And even Uzi moved to Tennessee. So, well, our governor is not a Democrat, but he is a rhino. Um, but we still, have very, very lenient gun laws in Tennessee. So, I agree, Ding. It is perfectly acceptable to use the term building, even though you're assembling it, because that's no different than what the gun manufacturers do. I'm sure, you know, their uppers come fully assembled and then they assemble them in the plant by snapping them together. Oh, I'm sorry, Pez. You're talking about Pennsylvania. Yes. Uh, yeah, I know when we lived in New Jersey, I had a friend of mine that moved to PA, and he used to brag about how great the gun laws were, but that was a long time ago. It's not as gun friendly as it used to be. But in all fairness, I got to give Shapiro credit. At least he's not coming after guns. Um, when he took office, he still allows people to carry, not like this lunatic in Virginia who's just every day slapping together anti gun bills, or uh, the other mental patient that's the governor of New Jersey. She's like the worst governor they've ever had. And all she does is focus on Governor Trump and ICE. I mean, we got a lot more problems in New Jersey to worry about. Well, time really flew here. It's 12:53. We do end this stream at 1 o'clock. So if you have any topics you want to go over, type them in now, because that 7 minutes is going to go by very quickly. And thank you all for joining today. A lot of new people. Glad to have you all. And if this is something you like, we do this every week, every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. And USMC, that Springfield emissary is awesome. I mentioned earlier before you joined my local, and thank you, Sultry, I appreciate that. God bless you. Have a good day. But yeah, USMC, my local Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo had the Springfield emissary on sale for $600 and something. I mean, that was just like stupid. And I bought that. And that emissary is badass. I love carrying that. The design is awesome. I like the hand grenade style grips on it. It's got the typical Springfield tritium night sight with the rear U-notch sight. And hello, Funky. You know what? I think you're going bye-bye. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Jib Jab. But, however, I got to give Shapiro credit at least because, and thank you for that, USMC. I appreciate that very much. But you got to give Shapiro credit. At least when he took over as governor, he didn't go ape shit and hog wild and try taking people's gun rights away. You know, not all liberals are mental patients. You know, Shapiro, as long as you leave the Second Amendment alone, I'm okay with that. And I mean, look at Fetterman. I mean, I have more and more respect for that man every day. He's not afraid to stand up against his party. And the ironic thing is the one Democrat with brain damage is the one makes the most sense. But he's a guy you could work with. He's the only Democrat that shook President Trump's hand during his speech. He's the only Democrat that approved every one of Trump's cabinet picks. So kudos to John Fetterman. I give the man a lot of credit. I would really like to see him run as a Republican instead of an independent, because running as an independent, the problem with that is it's going to take votes away. But yes, USMC, that I couldn't afford to not buy it. My wife and I just happened to stop in Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo, and I know I saw it for $1,300 or $1,200 on Grab-A-Gun, and it was 600 and something bucks, and I just had to have it. But I love that emissary. That is one of my favorite 1911s. It's heavy as hell though, but it's an awesome gun. And this is the 2-minute warning. Yes, CB, ask your question. We will be shutting down in about 2 minutes. All right, Jib Jab, have a good day. Thank you for taking time out and joining our stream. Always enjoy having you, brother, and you have a blessed weekend. Oh, and I do want to mention I will be giving away another belly band holster from Mission First Tactical. Yes, USMC, exactly. And that's exactly what Fetterman said. You have to have respect. And you're welcome, Pezzo. And we love having you here too, brother. Thank you for joining. All right, everybody. We're going to end this stream now. Thank you all so much for joining. For those who also just recently subscribed, we appreciate that as well. And if you like what we do here, we do it every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon. That's okay, USMC. 1911 is still a great platform, even if it's a 9mm. And it's awesome that your daughter has one. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for joining and subscribing. Hopefully, we'll hit the 8,000 subscriber mark today. Have a blessed weekend. Thanks for joining, and we'll catch you all next time. And you're baiting me, Duke. I ain't letting you do that. All right, we're going to end this now. Thanks, guys.